Boom. We are pre-recorded today, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be taking a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and the Raven position that we had closed out the other day, and possible re-entry there as well. We're going to dive in. We want to thank all of the new members for joining the private bear den. Very excited about that. Had almost 50 people sign up here. That was a fantastic day yesterday. We're going to just dive into the charts. I had a great time with Crown yesterday too, so I'm grateful for every time you guys suggest someone that we have on the show. So right off the bat, Litecoin is one of the ones that's been moving everyone's thought topic right now because it's been pushing a little bit further ahead than Bitcoin's price movement. Currently, we're sitting at around $86.59 for Litecoin. Now, when Bitcoin started to run the other day, I actually closed out my Raven position around 1,500 Satoshis. The reason I did that is because my general sentiment for any time I see Bitcoin do something is I just go back into Bitcoin. I'd rather ride the Bitcoin train as it's less worrisome to me. But here is one of those few times where Litecoin is actually outpacing Bitcoin in its movement. Now, yesterday when Crown and I had talked, Litecoin's halvening is actually coming up before Bitcoin's price halvening, and we've noticed that this has actually been somewhat frequent to Litecoin's price movement. And the other thing that I thought was extremely important, and I'm going to dive into this now, is we normally chart Litecoin against US dollar, but every time last year, and I think this started happening in November where I stopped looking at Litecoin to Bitcoin's price, but if you look at Litecoin to Bitcoin's price and you actually zoom out on the daily here, we start to see, let's actually go to the weekly, we start to see a much different story, which is actually really exciting. So we've hit a very key level of support and resistance in the Bitcoin to Litecoin place. Boom, right here. This is where you have multiple highs and lows coming in. Right around the 18,188 Satoshi mark. So we're going to be hitting multi-year levels of resistance and support here. Bang, bang, bang. Look at this. And this is what I had actually forgot to do, is I wasn't charting Litecoin and Bitcoin together anymore, and that's extremely important to do. The reason why that's so important is because when I'm trading in these markets, I'm not trying to acquire more US dollars. So everyone was like, oh my God, EOS is up 26% and all these tokens are up a bunch, but they're not against Bitcoin's price. If we actually, I thought I had EOS added on here. We'll add it now. EOS to Bitcoin. There we go. EOS to Bitcoin is only up 1% today. That's quite a big difference in comparison with EOS to US dollar. And when I remembered that, and this had been consistent for me all last year, but in November I took some time off, and then my dear grandmother passed away in January, and I completely forgot. I'd thrown everything off the table. I'd forgotten what I was doing to some degree in life. But as I dove back in, I remembered, oh right, this is all about Bitcoin. So what we see here is the Litecoin's price to Bitcoin over the last, what is this, 5 years pretty much. And we see this multi-year trend start to make a little bit more sense. Now, this is actually, as you see here too, we've made a really beautiful, almost a year-long cup here. If we do a handle off of this, I'm going to be extremely excited about Litecoin's price in the future. Right now, having it go only a few percentage points above Bitcoin's movement is not a huge deal to me, although we did see Litecoin go from $30 to $80, which is over 100% move. But at the same point, we were trading Raven for 600% gains since November. So it's really a balance of focus, I think, that's important, having a trading strategy that follows that balance of focus. Now, on the weekly chart too, we're actually just about to make a big golden cross against Bitcoin. This is really exciting for me. I normally I'm not too interested in Litecoin because, well, we had traded it a bunch last year, but we hadn't seen anything that had changed our minds. Now, what's interesting is I wasn't really paying attention in December here because I was busy. I was doing my living life. Now, this is one of the fun things when you start to have more assets. You don't really necessarily care about the trading and oh my God, if I'd only got Litecoin at $30, I would have. If you think it's going to change your life, you're probably playing this game wrong. I myself use the growth of my asset classes to be not so I can have more money. Or more freedom necessarily, but it's so that I have something to go back to if I ever fail. That's a longer story to, I guess, try to explain, but remembering that Litecoin's chart to Bitcoin's price is actually fundamentally significantly more important to me last night was a huge indicator. Same with Ethereum. When I start to look at Ethereum's price to US dollar, and then in comparison with, it's actually I should be using more data here. Yeah, here we go. Back when we were down here at 24 bucks in November 2016, I remember talking about Litecoin and Bitcoin and Ethereum to everyone back here. We actually started our channel right here. Where was this? March, when Ethereum was at 50 bucks. So we started talking about it at first. We made most of our sales around 800, and then we sold out again everything around 600. But if you look at Ethereum to Bitcoin, the chart becomes a totally different story. It's actually quite similar, but the story itself is very different. Because I'm sure you're going to take this off of here for the moment. See this curling up of the price here? Right above this, right above the volume line. This is a really interesting point for me, and I'm going to start paying attention to Ethereum as well here too. Only because Bitcoin's momentum in the ecosystem has caused a lot of like, whoa, and that's an exciting moment. That's the volatility in any space is what you're looking for. Now Ethereum has actually stayed relatively stable to Bitcoin's price movement over the last 2 or 3 weeks, as in comparison with Litecoin. Litecoin's actually made a big sweeping cup, but going back and looking at these charts consistently, not just to the US dollar, but to Bitcoin, I think is going to give a much better fundamental approach to any trading style. I don't care how much my account is worth at the end of the day, as long as it's worth more Bitcoin than when I started with. And that's the point of this trade, or any of these trades for me, because it can be very easy to get lost in holding, let's say, EOS during a Bitcoin bull movement and looking at EOS to US dollars and thinking, hey, we did great, but the whole time you're fundamentally forgetting that if you had been sitting in Bitcoin, this beautiful monster, woo, you would have had a much better ride. And that was very, anyone that was trading and joined the ride with us when we first started in March, we remember that sequence of events where Bitcoin would go up, and as soon as it had retracements, a lot of that extra economic energy would flow back into the alternative digital currency, eco asset system, whatever you want to call it, right? So Bitcoin is actually one of the fundamentals that we want to pay attention to all the time. So now we're putting the Bitcoin charts on the top instead of the US dollar charts. The US dollar chart is actually what we're trying to get away from. And we've been entering this really interesting time of space where now we see the S&P 500 has jumped up above its previous lines of resistance, which have now become support. The new support line, which means we could be headed to new all-time highs in the stock market. That to me is just crazy. This is something very, very crazy. The reason why this is crazy is because I don't know what's going on in the dollar world. Have they started printing more money? Because I don't know where this extra economic energy in the stock market is coming from. It didn't exist in the first place. If you go back and you look at a lot of the Fed's budget balance tightening sheets, the QE and the QE roll-offs, actually that's one of the charts everyone should be paying attention to is the QE roll-off. QE roll-off, let's see if I can find it quickly. Core is not going to have it. There we go. Unwinding $501 billion balance sheet. Okay. The albatross is the $617 billion in bonds that mature over the next 10 years. Over the next few months, the Fed is expected to announce a new plan for this balance sheet. Again, this is one of these really important parts that we want to keep paying attention to, is because I'm fairly confident right now that one of the reasons why we're seeing a big influx of money into the Bitcoin space is because I think they turned the printing press back on. I don't know. There's no other explanation for why the S&P 500 is breaking into new areas of resistance from having such a sharp downtrend all the way to 2034. Look at that V, right? This is crazy. And now what you're seeing is a potential for a new head and shoulders taking place. They're going to have to push that shoulder above 2,900 essentially. So very precarious space, but this is one of those ideas that we had been talking about before, is do we start to see the degradation of the dollar, which pushes the stock market higher, giving the false sense of security and comfort to anyone that owns something in the stock market, as well as those that own businesses, because if you start to destroy the stock market instead of the dollar first, you're going to see a massive, noticeable decline in the economy, where if you destroy the dollar, you might not notice that. And not only that, you're actually empowering the other emerging markets who are having a difficult time battling the price of the strengthening dollar. This is a very interesting time to be alive. Anyways, Point of this is we're going to jump in. We're updating all the private Bear Den notes about active trades. I actually jumped into Ethereum and Litecoin yesterday just for parts of the swing trade. So if you're interested in joining our private Bear Den, it's a noticeably cheaper entry price than everyone else offers. The reason we want to do that is because we provide you way more value than most other people do. Figure there's a nice happy medium. We're likely going to raise the price after we get our first 250 subscriptions. We'll let you know about that tomorrow, but we're thinking maybe the first 250 people that get the $20 a month, and then we might actually raise that because we're offering so much value. There's education. We've got multiple admins. We have other traders that are being added as well. So jam-packed full of value. arcanebear.com/club. It's $20 a month on a recurring payment. You guys, we're offering it so you can pay yearly in Bitcoin and get a discounted price. We're building all that out now. So if you haven't yet, please join our community Telegram channel. You guys will be able to help getting any of your questions answered in there. All this is down in the links below as well. Smash that thumbs up if you like this content. I'm going to leave it a little brief today. I found some really cool new tools and indicators that I've been playing with. This Ultra MACD is one of them. It's turned out to be beautiful so far. Pretty excited about that. I'm going to share more of those in our private den as well as over the next few days in our channels. The NVT was something that Crypto Crownage showed us yesterday too, and that was a beautiful new addition to the Bear family, indicators. And the other one that I'm playing with today too is this decision bar on the pivots risk. Oh, that's actually, I've got it already set up. Let's show you here, bam. So it shows you a really, really interesting take. Any extra added information and indicators I've been keeping my eye on. See, the long exhaustion ended here, short position entered here. Long position entered again here. Really cool stuff to see these indicators come into play. And again, we see no updates on any of these from the exit prices as well. But again, we see Ethereum really bubbling up against this corner market here. Super excited for the next few days. There's going to be a lot of momentum. We're looking for the top of the B wave in Bitcoin somewhere between 53 to 5,600. Again, join the private Bear Club and you'll find all that out. Private Bear Den, I guess we're not going to call it a club. We figure the Bear Den is more suitable. Bears hang out in bear dens. Anyways, Steve with the Arcane Bear. I'm signing off for the rest of the day. Thank you guys for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful time. You hope you've been enjoying the trades too, because holy hot, good dang. They've been fun over the last few weeks. From Raven to Bitcoin's run to where we are now, following Litecoin and Ethereum for a few trades and looking for entry into the rest of the alternative assets as we see the price movements change direction. Very excited. Thank you all. We'll see you guys on the side.